no one that is doing better than you is going to hate on you.
I think so many people want that confidence that certain people have, and they think like, let me listen to this podcast, or let me read this book, or let me go to this seminar. And it's like, man, as good as those things are, that's not where confidence is found.
If you want to live a hard life, make it easy. If you want to live an easy life, make it hard.
Welcome to the High Vibe Life podcast, where we are obsessed with all things manifestation, neuroscience, personal growth, and quite simply, living a life beyond our wildest dreams. I'm Moira Kucaba, author, speaker, podcaster, manifestation, and mindset master. Since getting sober 25 years ago, I've helped tens of thousands of women break through and achieve massive levels of wealth, joy, and freedom. Now it's your turn. Let's dig in. Welcome back to the show. I am so excited about this episode. I'm so excited about my guest. You guys, I literally was up last night at like 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, like thinking about this episode and thinking about what I get to bring to you guys today. My friend Kade is on the show today. Kade, thank you for being here today.
Thank you. I could not be more excited. Like, I get excited when I get to do podcasts, but this one's like a special one. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Kade and I got to speak just a few weeks ago out in Utah at one of our friends' events, which was like the most epic event ever. James Lawrence, the Iron Cowboy. I mean, that event and that room was like, it was just unmatched, extraordinary. And that's where we got to meet for the first time.
Yeah, it seriously was. Words can't describe how amazing that event was.
Yeah, I totally agree. And we got to be there together. And I said this before, but like, I don't know what it is about you. I mean, obviously we're going to hear your story. We're going to hear what you're all about. And I know my audience is going to fall in love with you just like I did. But I have this like, you just feel like my baby brother. Like when we were on stage together, I was like, I love this kid and he just feels like my brother. And I feel like that's why I could not wait to just wake up and get in the studio and connect with you again today.
Yeah, that is seriously so nice of you to say, like, the ultimate compliment right there. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's do this. I can give my spiel as to who Kade Peterson is, but I would love for you to share from your heart. Can we pull back the curtain a little bit? Can you pull back the curtain on who you are, what you're doing in the world, and really how you got here?
Yeah. So, man, I'm excited for this. So yeah, Kade Peterson from Utah. I'm currently 26 years old. I think most people know me as the guy who does random things to get out of his comfort zone in whatever way, shape, or form. And I document my journey on social media and try and help influence and inspire other people to get out of their comfort zones as well, because I truly believe that no growth will ever happen inside the comfort zone. Mm-hmm. And so whether you're trying to excel in business, in your physical life, in your family life, it starts outside the comfort zone. So I've just been trying to live a life outside the comfort zone, and it's just been a very fun time.
Yeah. So, gosh, you're so young and you've done so much. How did this start? Like, was there a point where you were showing up on social media and you said, like, I'm not just going to, do this a little bit. I'm going to kind of take it to the next level, or I'm going to challenge myself to do a certain, kind of streak of this. And what did that look like?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I've been doing content for about 6 years. And in the first 3 years, it was kind of like figuring myself out, figuring out what like my passion was, what like my purpose is. And what's funny is like when I first started content creation, I was so scared about what people would think of me that I would wear a mask and I used a fake name because I didn't know, like I was so worried about what other people would think of me.
Yeah, that's crazy. So you had this like deep-seated desire to create, to show, like, to be this person and to be this creative, but you literally had a mask on and a fake name.
It's crazy. It's like people like don't believe when they see my like old content because I've just changed so much since then. And so that was about like a 3-year span. And then it was about 3 years ago, it's like halfway through my content journey, that I had a total switch, that I just felt like I'm living way too comfortably. And something that you talk about, I love the way you word it, the whisper, that your audience probably can relate to. I kind of just felt like deep down, I was living way beneath my potential. It's not like there was anything wrong going on in my life, but I felt like I could just be doing so much more. And I came to the realization that my fears, my anxieties, my desire for comfort was just holding me back from reaching this better version of me. And so that's when I kind of leaned into that, and my content kind of pivoted to now not caring what people think.
Yeah. Wow. What a 180. Talk to me about that. Like, so how much traction were you getting? Because I'm sure that there was something to actually the masked man, right? Getting a lot of traction on social because people were so curious as to who is this guy. So was there a lot of traction from that originally?
Yeah, it wasn't like anything crazy. But yeah, so something about me is I have a huge passion for dancing. I love dancing. And so I liked these cringe TikTok videos that people would make, but I didn't want people to know that I liked it. And so, yeah, I would like in those first 3 years, I was only on TikTok, and I grew a following of about 300,000 followers. It's crazy to see like the difference in growth when I was worried about what people thought about me to now. And so, yeah, I'm not sure how deep you want me to dive into that.
Well, gosh, I feel like everyone can, like, I just want to pause there for a moment because, like, let's all go back 5 or 6 years, right? When TikTok really kind of took off and it was all dance videos. And so we all, at least, well, maybe I'm just in your camp here, but like felt that same way, like these cringe dance videos that we all secretly were like, somebody teach me how to do that. So I'm like, this makes so much sense. You know, you were just the genius that decided to put a mask on and actually do them. We all just secretly wanted to and didn't, right? So that's amazing. And I also come from, you know, my daughter's a competitive hip hop dancer. And so I love, like, dance makes me tear up. It's so emotional to see people dance like that. And so I get that. And so talk to me about the feelings. Like when you were doing that, when you had 200, 300,000 followers, what did that feel like? Like, were you actually experiencing like extreme anxiety, insecurity, or was it just like, gosh, I should really take this mask off and I wonder what will happen to my content if I, you know, just kind of pivot and show everybody who I am? Like, what was really going on in the inside?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think the fear of other people's opinions is such a strong fear that most people share. And like you said, before COVID, TikTok wasn't like a cool thing. Everyone was like, oh, that cringe dance app. And I was like, I kind of want to do that though. And so, you know, I love dancing. It brings so much joy to my life, and I do it all the time. And so I remember like my first video I ever made, I was like so nervous to post it because I was like I did it. It probably took me like 20 tries to get this like dance down. And I finally got it, and I was like so nervous. I posted it. I got like 200 views, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like 200 people watched me dance. Like this is so cringe. Like, I don't know if I should keep doing this. But it's like, no, like this is fun. So kind of just little by little did it more. And I remember like the first time like I received hate, which for anybody who does content knows that like hate is going to happen.
Yeah.
And I remember that first time I was like, oh shoot, like maybe this isn't what I should be doing. Like this is bad. Like I got to change or something. And yeah, it's just crazy to see over time how that has just changed in my brain.
Yeah. And I've seen you share some of that, and it's so authentic, your reaction, like where you are now, like reading some of those hate messages that can be like awful and so cruel, like the things that people say behind the protection of, you know, a computer screen and a keyboard, but they really don't affect you now. And so I'm sure they did back then. How did you get through that, right? Because I think so many people get that first comment and they just pivot back. They're like, I can't do this. This isn't what I'm supposed to do. This hurts too much. I'm too vulnerable. How did you push through that?
Yeah, great question. I would say two things. The first one being I've become so rooted in who I am and so confident with my purpose and what I want to do in my life that like regardless of what other people have to say, I'm going to live my life. Who cares what other people think? Like this is what makes me happy. I don't want other people to determine what I should do with my life. Like this is what makes me happy. So I just feel so good about what I'm doing that, you know, people have something to say. It's like, whatever. I feel joy doing this. I'm not going to stop. Yeah. And then the second thing is just having the understanding that no one that is doing better than you is going to hate on you. Right. So what I'll say to that is someone who has like the audacity to try and bring someone down is in such a dark space, such a dark state of life. And it's just so sad to think that they feel the need to have gratification to bring someone down. No one that's doing good or is like satisfied with their life would have any motive to try and bring someone down. So whenever I see those comments, I truly just feel bad for these people and just like pray for them that they can find a way out of whatever they're at, because no one that is in their right mind would ever say the things that they say.
Oh, so good, Kade. So good. And I feel like we all kind of have maybe heard that once or twice, or, you know, we can pull that off of, you know, a quote on Instagram. But I think it's important too to have the people around you in your life that really walk that same path, that they constantly are reminding you like, that's actually very true. Like we're not just saying that to make ourselves feel better. Like it is so true, and to be living it out, right? So you're living it out, like you said, through your experience. So every single day you're just getting more rooted and more rooted and more rooted. And I literally think of it like a tree. And so when that comment comes along, or that storm of comments, like you're kind of unshakable, right? But then to also have those people around you that are constantly in that same conversation, like, oh my gosh, yeah, I had that the other day too. And like, you just gotta keep going. And you're like, oh, okay, so I'm not alone in it. Because it's when you're alone in it that it feels unbearable.
For sure. Couldn't agree more with that.
So I'm a big believer in when you're finally step into this path, this is your calling, I think it inevitably turns into things that we could have never seen coming, right? Like I was just watching you, I think it was on your stories the other day, and like a grill showed up on your doorstep, and like boxes upon boxes upon boxes of stuff just show up on your doorstep. Yeah. That's definitely not something you were like goaling for when you did your first TikTok dance.
Yeah.
So what has happened in the last 6 years that you're like, man, I couldn't have dreamt this up?
Wow, that is a very loaded question. So like if I could go back in time and show my 20-year-old self where we're at now, like you wouldn't believe it. Yeah. I would say, I mean, a lot of different opportunities with business, a lot of amazing people, like meeting you, like all those people at that event, just so many amazing things. But I would say like one of the biggest thing is just my new character of confidence. I don't think confidence is something that people are born with. It's something that's learned and earned. Yeah. And by doing things over and over and over and having consistency, you can develop discipline, confidence, these traits that everyone is seeking. And just from what I've learned, it's all by stepping outside that comfort zone.
Yeah, absolutely. I always say, you know, and there is a quote, it's like, it's not what you get on the journey, it's who you become. Like that's the real payoff. I think we set out a lot of times to get the things or to get the income or to get the followers, and you arrive at this place where you're like, you can have all of that. Like none of that matters, because within me, I have the greatest thing that I could have gained. And I didn't know that this is what I was here for, which is the coolest part. So let's talk about that. I want to talk about first kind of that confidence piece and how you go about that, which is crazy, and how other people might need to, you know, you can suggest going about it. And then I also want to talk about the business side kind of after that. But let's talk about, you say, you know, getting outside of your comfort zone. What did that look like in the beginning? What did it turn into? What does it look like now?
Yeah, so it all started with I was going through again that stage of life where I feel like I could be doing more, like some things that were happening in my life. I'd recently just started some businesses, meeting new people. I'd just gotten out of a relationship, and I feel like anyone who's like been broken up with, you kind of feel like man, okay, what can I be doing better? And a tipping point for me was going to a seminar by the Iron Cowboy, the same guy that hosted that retreat for us. Not retreat, sorry, seminar for us last week that we were able to speak at. And at this seminar, he asked the question, when was the last time you intentionally made yourself uncomfortable? Mm-hmm. And that was just like, oh my goodness, yes, that's exactly what I needed to hear. No one wants to intentionally be uncomfortable. The goal of financial freedom and living a happy life is to live comfortably.
Yeah.
But what I learned is if you want to live a hard life, make it easy. If you want to live an easy life, make it hard. And so I realized all of my fears and desires for comfort, again, like I said, is just holding me back from this greater version of me. And so I went home that night and I started writing down all my fears, all the things that scared me. And then I created what's called the Uncomfortable 30, where I did one of those things every day for 30 days. And it was the most uncomfortable thing ever. Like every morning I woke up and I'm like, oh gosh, we have to do this today. But it is such a beautiful thing when you can do what like you fear and then come out on the other end. You're like, oh my gosh, I feel amazing.
Yeah.
A lot of the things that we desire in life, like a happy family, financial freedom, a fit body, all of these things, desirable traits that people want, you'll realize that is impossible to achieve while being comfortable, impossible to achieve like right now. So you have to learn the concept of like delayed gratification and do things that make you uncomfortable over and over. And when you get like so out of the comfort zone, all of a sudden being uncomfortable is no longer as bad as like it used to be. Mm-hmm. The more that I do things that make me uncomfortable, the more I realize like it wasn't as bad as what my brain thought it to be. Like I think an ice bath is a great example of that, something that I think makes everyone uncomfortable. Before you get in an ice bath, you're just like your body is literally like screaming, like, don't do it. Like you're going to die. Like this is horrible. And you get it in your breath. Like you get so scared, but then like you sit in it and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, this is, I'm okay. I'm okay. And then you get out and you feel like amazing. Like, oh my gosh, like I just did that. You feel so good. Yeah. And so, the more that I did all these things that scared me, just the new person I became.
Oh, so good. Okay. I need details. So this Uncomfortable 30, was the umbrella like some were mental, some were physical, some were about like what other people were going to see? Because I think we tend to do what you just said. We tend to think like ice bath or push myself harder in my workouts or learn how to surf when I don't know how to surf. Like they're all mental as well, but they're mainly physical. Like we think a lot about physical challenges. So how did you come up with this Uncomfortable 30? Like what were some of the random things on there that you did?
Yeah, that's a great question. So this list, it started with 30. And this list has grown to like hundreds now. Yeah. Obviously there's like the physical stuff of like hard workouts, eating a certain food. But yeah, there's a lot of like mental stuff that like people would think like that won't help you. Like for example, I wore a weird outfit to the gym, like just to call attention and like wearing like pajamas, like snow boots, like duct tape wrists. It's something stupid. And people would like look and then like they double take and look at me. And that was the whole goal, is to just be like, I'm going to do me regardless of what people think. Yeah. And what I realized is that people would look, but then they go right back to what they're doing. What people don't realize is when they walk into a room, they think everyone is looking at them. Everyone's like observing them and judging them. When in reality, everyone's thinking the same thing. And so I did a lot of these challenges to kind of put myself out there to draw attention. But then I realized that people just like go right back to what they're doing. Yeah. Like another thing I did is I went on like this is like one of my most uncomfortable challenges is I got invited on a date to do yoga with this girl that I'd never met before. And I shared this last week. I remember hearing this.
You got to share this. It's so good.
Yeah. So I'm going to do yoga with this girl, and that in of itself is uncomfortable. Like to go meet a girl, cute girl that I've never met. And I kind of joke with my roommate and I'm like, imagine how like uncomfortable it would be if I showed up like in a shirt and tie. And he's like, yeah, you got to do it. And I'm like, dude, no, I already did my uncomfortable challenge of the day. Like, I don't need to do that. And he's like, no, the fact that you're feeling that means that you need to do it. I always like tell people the best time to do something is when you least want to do it.
Yes.
And so I was like, oh my gosh, okay. Let's do it. So I showed up in a shirt and tie, and the person checking me in, she's like, you can change in the back. And I'm like, no, like I'm okay. And she's like, you're going to wear that? And I was like, yeah. And then like my date came out, and she was such a good sport. She like laughed, thought it was hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
But I remember like walking in, everyone's in like athletic wear, you know, guys are shirtless.
And you're in a suit and
I'm,
a tie.
I'm in a suit and tie. And people like were like, there's a guy in the back like with a shirt and tie. But like at the end of the day, who cares? Like I did it. And I remember like when I was done with that, like looking back is like, man, if I can do that and overcome that fear, like what can't I do?
Was that
such an empowering
more,
thing.
Was that more, because I'm seeing a stack here, right? Like that is wildly physically uncomfortable. So is that where it started? Like this would be so physically uncomfortable, or did it start?
That one was way more mental.
Yeah.
Way more mental.
I was thinking like, or is that more of like, what in the world are people going to be think of me like this is embarrassing uncomfortable, or all of the above?
I mean, all of the above, but I would say for that one, like I would be fine. Like if I went and did that by myself alone in a room, like, yeah, it would be uncomfortable. But for me, like that was way more the mental aspect of people looking at me and wondering what the heck is he doing?
Yeah.
So yeah, like there's a wide array of different things, and people will all the time say like, I think this guy misunderstands what the comfort zone is, because like watching a movie standing up, like not sitting on a couch, just standing, watching a movie. People are like, how, like, what benefit does that do?
Yeah.
But what it does, it just teaches you that you can do things even when you don't want to do them. So many people go about life only doing things when they feel like it. But if you get into the habit of only doing things when you feel like it, you'll never be that person that you want to become. You have to teach yourself to do things regardless of what you feel. You may feel like you want to wake up early in the morning tomorrow, but as soon as that alarm goes off, that feeling is out the window. So you have to just like train yourself to over and over do things despite when you feel like it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. You need to like do an uncomfortable 30 in like every high school class in the country. Can you imagine if they leaned into this concept and this idea of like getting outside their comfort zone?
Yeah, it's crazy. And people all the time say like, get out of your comfort zone, get out of your comfort zone. And it's so easy for us to even be on here and just talk about like, you know, who cares what people think, or, you know, push through the discomfort. But it's until you actually do it, until you actually do that thing, you won't experience that benefit.
Right. Because like you said, every single thing we do is for the feeling of either joy or like freedom or ease. Like everything that we wake up to do is to feel those feelings. And this is a 180 in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
So
it really is.
Crazy. Do you ever run like challenges like this where you say, hey, come into this group, we're all going to do this together? Have you ever done that?
So when I first started, I did it once, and then the next year I was just like, so I do like the uncomfortable 30 once a year at the beginning of the year to kind of just like start off the year right. And then getting out of the comfort zone is not just like do it once and then all of a sudden you're good. Right. It's kind of a continual thing. So like I continue to do things, but like a strict one thing every day. I do that once a year. And so the following year I was like, man, this changed my life. I want to help people do it. And I created like a group, and I had like a few people join. But what I realized first is in order for me to help other people, I need to create like a reputation for myself first.
Yeah.
At that time, I didn't really have a following on social media, and I'd only done it once, and I wasn't like an expert in it. And so it kind of flopped. Yeah. Didn't have that many people that joined, and those that did join, I don't think, in fact, I know none of them ended up going through with it.
It's so hard.
It's very uncomfortable. It's very hard to do. Yes. It's very hard to do. And so after that, I learned, okay, I just need to like figure out myself first, and then I'll be able to help way more people once I've kind of rooted myself in this first.
Well, just leading by example in the world and being that example, it's like that ripple effect. I mean, I just saw one little comment where it was like on one of your posts where somebody was like, I started dancing like wherever, anywhere, in the car, in the store, whatever. And it's like, brought me so much joy. I'm like, that's like a radical shift to create in someone's life, to give them permission and the encouragement and the example to be that free themselves. Like, that's a game changer.
Yeah, I can't express, like, I think that is part of my why and why I share my journey on social media. Obviously, I'm trying to be the best version of myself, but the reason why I share it on social media is to hopefully inspire and help other people to do that. And the messages I get daily from people saying little stuff like that is just like, it's so rewarding, and I just feel so much joy when I can share what I've learned and what has changed my life with other people. I run into people quite a bit, and they come up to me and will say like, I started running and I'm so much happier having done this, and it's really fulfilling when you can help other people realize how beautiful life is outside the comfort zone.
Yeah. Absolutely. And it goes just back to what you were saying, like comfort or confidence. Confidence isn't found. I think so many people want that confidence that certain people have, and they think like, let me listen to this podcast, or let me read this book, or let me go to this seminar. And it's like, man, as good as those things are, that's not where confidence is found. Like, confidence is found in the action. Confidence is found in the doing. That's what builds you into that different version of yourself that so many people want, but they can't do the uncomfortable thing.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Can we pull back the curtain a little bit on, you're a content creator. You have been for 6 or 7 years. You're obviously a very successful content creator. What did you start out, like, what was your goal in like thinking like, how do I monetize this? And what has that turned into now?
Yeah, great question. When I first started, I didn't really have any vision of, like, I didn't know my purpose. I didn't know what I was like 20 years old, didn't even know what I wanted to do with my life, but I wanted to just do something that made me happy. And so that's kind of how it started. And I even went through a phase where like I would teach people how to make money selling stuff on Amazon. So that's something that I do. That's one of my businesses. I sell products on Amazon, and I kind of like didn't really feel fulfillment in that. And then kind of went back to these like mass dancing videos, and then had this like comfort zone. And I've kind of just been going through it, just trying to figure out my purpose. And then once I, leaned into this comfort zone thing, I just felt like so much joy and so much fulfillment in that, and have kind of just taken off with it. But what's really cool, and what a lot of people don't know about me, they see my social media and they see this, crazy guy doing crazy things, but people don't know that that's actually not my like job. People think that content creation is my full-time thing, but what's allowed me to do content creation to the level that I've done it is I've created like businesses that have given me a lot more time freedom to do the thing that I love to do. And I always tell people, like, becoming the best version of yourself isn't just physical. It isn't just mental. It isn't just emotional. And it's not just financial. Like, I think financial is a part that people overlook. They try and improve their life, but if you're not taking care of financially, you truly can't be the best version of yourself and do the things that you want to do. And so I've been able to create different businesses that have allowed me to have that like time freedom to do the things that I love to do.
Yeah, I love that so much, because I think, Ed Milet will talk about that. Like, he didn't make his money by being a thought leader. He made his money in real estate, which gave him the flexibility to do this, kind of thought leader work in the world. And, one of my business coaches, Bedros Keuilian, talks about it too. He like does a lot of work with young men and their fathers and these boot camp kind of things. Do you know Bedros? I need to connect you guys.
I don't.
You guys
love
need to know each other.
Okay.
We'll make that happen. But he says that too. He's like, the back end business is what fuels and finances kind of these big passion projects that a lot of people see as forward facing. But you have to figure out how to, create some financial freedom to fuel the dream, really.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people come to me and say, okay, like, how do I grow on social media? How do I do X, Y, Z? And I'm not saying this is bad, that people go into it with the like goal of immediately making money from it. If you can go into it doing something that like brings you joy and fulfillment, you are going to grow so much quicker than if you are only going into it like for the monetary value. It's so much easier to grow when you're just doing something that you enjoy. Like the late nights, staying up editing or making videos, like I enjoyed that. And so it wasn't like obviously every content creator will go through phases where they get burnt out, but it's so much easier to stay consistent with something when you're doing the thing that you love to do. And so that was something that definitely helped me, was I enjoyed creating content. Yeah.
Well, you enjoy creating content and you enjoy like doing the actual thing that's in the content. I think that's
and the person I'm becoming doing it.
Yes. And it's like people so miss that, like when they're doing the thing that they love, whether that's dancing in your car or doing some crazy stunt, it's like the energy that you end up kind of living in just like fuels everything, right? It's like you're not pushing a rock uphill anymore. You're just like flying down the mountain, which is a completely different feeling.
Yeah. Yeah. And speaking of the dancing in my car, I feel like that's probably the videos that most people have seen of mine. So during my uncomfortable 30, I came to the realization that I'm scared of what people think of me. And that this fear is really holding me back from doing what I want to do in my life. And I came to this realization, like, I like to dance and sing in my car. And when I'd pull up to stoplights, I would stop dancing and singing because people would look at me. But then when I like really thought about it, I was like, why would I stop doing something that makes me happy based off of someone's invalid opinion of me? And I'm never going to see these people ever again. I don't know them. Who cares what they think? And it's easy for me to say, but then doing it was a different story. And so like one of my challenges, it was actually day 30 of my first uncomfortable 30. I was like, I'm going to just dance insanely hard in my car, and who cares what people think? They might like it. They might hate it. They might, whatever. I've had the craziest of reactions. But I'm going to do me. I'm going to be me. And, that was the last challenge I did. And social media really liked it. And I felt like I could grow even more from that. So I kind of leaned into that niche of dancing in my car. It's a very to go back to your question of like, what are things that happen that I never would have thought would have happened? I never in a million years thought I would be known for being the car dancer, the guy that jams in his car at stoplights. But I've made tons of videos now of me just being me, dancing in my car. What's funny is people think that like I create like choreography and like plan out these car dancing videos, but I literally just like put the phone up and film myself whenever I'm driving somewhere. Like I don't go out and just create these videos. Like I do it while I'm living my life.
Yeah.
And I don't ever think beforehand what I'm going to do. I kind of just do it. And so I've done all these different series of dancing in my car, and little by little, the more that you do things that are uncomfortable for you, the more it's comfortable. It's where now I can pull up to any stoplight. Who cares who's next to me? I'm just going to have a blast and have fun doing it.
I love that. I mean, it does help that you're like an incredible dancer.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
There is that. But like, what better thing? Because I can't fathom anyone having a negative reaction to that. Like I can't even. But
you'd be surprised.
That's crazy. I mean, if I'm in the car with my daughter a lot, and if we ever pull up to a stoplight and I see anybody around me, like I can just go from like, oh, I'm exhausted, you're driving home, you're running all the errands, to like instantaneous shift. and
I
like
love
pointing
that.
it out, and we just start smiling and like laughing, and like, you know, we're turning up the music. Like it's contagious. Energy is
I
contagious.
love that.
Yeah.
It also shows like the type of person that you are, and that you are like content and fulfilled with your life, to where when you see other people being happy, you're not envious or like mad or upset. Like you're like, good for them. Like that's awesome. Like so many, it's sad when people see other people successful, they can think two things. One, dang, like they're lucky. Like I can't do that. I was born this way, blah, blah, blah. Or they could think, man, that is so awesome for them. That inspires me to do X, Y, Z. And it just shows like your current state of who you are. And so that's really cool that you share that.
Yeah, for sure. Oh my gosh. I mean, there is a part of me that's like, I wish I could be more like that. But it comes from this like inspiration place versus
exactly.
jealousy, you know?
Yes.
So I think that's the difference when you're kind of in that growth mindset and, you know, living down that growth track. It's like you always see envy as inspiration. And that's really cool.
Great way to put it.
Yeah. So tell us this. Tell us, well, where can people find you? Because I'm like, as we're talking, I'm like, you have to go watch these videos. You have to see all this crazy stuff. Like your social media, I mean, honest to God, it's like, it just brings me so much joy. Like it is, we all need more of that. We all need more of those little hits on the scroll, right? That just light us up and bring us joy and bring us inspiration to live a more joyful life, live more outside of our comfort zone. So can you tell everybody where they can find you?
First of all, thank you for saying that. That is very sweet of you. So I would say my Instagram is probably my main channel that I'm most active on. It's Kade _ Peterson. So Kade with a K, Peterson SON. I'm also on TikTok and YouTube. If you just search Kade Peterson, you should find me. And I thought that I had, as you asked that question, and I just have to express gratitude for that whisper that you talk about, because last year, this is a story that I shared last week that you'll remember, is I used to only be on TikTok. I was only posting these videos on TikTok because, again, that fear of what other people would think. I didn't want to post on my personal Instagram and have my friends and family be like, what? Like, Kade thinks he's like an influencer. What is he doing? Like, this is weird. So I was only posting on TikTok. But last year, for whatever reason, TikTok deleted my account. So I had like 300 something thousand followers, and it was like 5 years of work down the drain, all gone. And it was devastating. I was like, dang, here I am, like trying to do, be the best version of me and help other people. Like there's way crazier stuff on TikTok. Like I feel like my content's wholesome. How could they do this to me?
Yeah.
And then after a couple months went by and I realized this isn't coming back, I was like, okay, they can take away my following. They can take away my videos. They can take away everything from me, but they can't take away who I am and my 5 years of experience doing content creation. So let's do a comfort zone challenge and just restart. So I created a brand new TikTok, brand new YouTube, and then I got over my fear of posting on Instagram and just started posting on my Instagram. And the amount of growth that I've had in this last year just blows out my first 5 years on just TikTok. And so I'm grateful that I had that feeling and that whisper of, you need to restart. Like, it's okay. It's gonna be uncomfortable, but it'll be worth it.
Yeah. Well, I'm grateful that you took action, right? Because that's the difference. I think so many of us hear the whisper, but it's the ones that actually follow that up with action. And it's way easier to do that when you've gotten outside of your comfort zone 1,000 times, right? You know that it always, like, there's always a payoff when you take that action.
1,000%.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more.
I love that so much. Oh my gosh. Well, is there anything else you want to leave this audience with today?
I would say whatever it is that you are wanting to achieve in your life, whether it's financial freedom, whether it's that job that you want, whether it's that person that you want to be with for the rest of your life, whatever goal you have, it will not happen inside the comfort zone. Nothing great in this life has ever or will ever be achieved inside the comfort zone. If you think back to any like historical figure who had an impact on the world, any current person who is successful, whether it's in academics, business, athletics, politics, whatever it is, they didn't do it while being comfortable. And I wish I could get on here and say, like, oh, here's a shortcut to life. Like, if you want to make it easy, like, just do this. It's like the shortcut is to make it hard, to do things that are uncomfortable. And I think when people like listen to a podcast like this, they know deep down what is holding them back. Yeah. And everyone's different. Everyone's comfort zone's different. A lot of people will comment on my post and say, that's not uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. Like, I had all these wrestlers and Finnish people comment on a challenge that I did where I did a sauna for an hour, which was horrible. And these people that are used to it were like, that's not uncomfortable. Right. And on every video I post, someone will say, that's not uncomfortable. But everyone's comfort zone's different. Yeah. And so doing that thing that makes you uncomfortable, and I think every listener knows what their fear is. They know what makes them uncomfortable. And that's exactly what it is that you need to do to be that best version of yourself. The magic you're looking for is in the work that you're avoiding.
Oh, so true and so good. So good. Oh my gosh, I could like talk for another hour because you just like hit the nail on the head right there at the end. Kade, thank you so much for your time. Just thank you for your example in the world, and thank you for like just continuing to live that whisper out and go where you're called, because the ripple effect across the globe is huge, but I know only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. You've got a long, huge life ahead of you, and I can't wait to see what you do with it.
Thank you. Thank you for being the light that you are. Like, you motivate and inspire me, and it's a beautiful thing when you can learn and grow with people who have that same drive. So thank you for having me and letting me share my story.
Absolutely. You guys, make sure you share this episode with a friend. Tag Kade, tag me, and we will see you next week. Thanks for joining in.